And welcome to Fit Foundations. I know the Super Bowl has just started, and you're like, what the hell are you guys doing here trying to mess up my Super Bowl party? We are not trying to mess up your Super Bowl party. We just don't really watch football that much. I know. Well, I mean, I do. Do you watch football?
To be honest with
Go
you,
sports!
not too much.
Go sports! That's kind of how we
And
are.
unsubscribe.
Let's hope not. Let's hope not. If you're just joining us, this is Fit Foundations, brought to you by FitFluentX. FitFluentX, get your lifestyle coaching, personal training, fitness consulting. What else do we do? A little bit of everything. A little gym management, consulting work, a little bit of everything. Come on to FitFluentX. Check us out. You can check us out at fitfluentx.com. Today, we will be talking about supplements, everything you need to know about supplements. And we have with us a professional supplement salesperson / user, right? And so, Tom, you use, how many different supplements did you use if you had to count, right? Like how many different ones do you use?
Definitely a lot easier in the off season, but during prep, I can't even count. I mean, it's just like at least 20 some supplements a daily basis.
20 on a daily basis,
that's
like 20
vitamins.
different supplements. Holy crap, dude.
Yeah.
20 different supplements. Like, how do you? Okay.
A lot of alarms set in my phone.
I imagine so.
Yeah.
I hope so. I don't know how you keep track of 20 different supplements. Like, I take two. Like, I take protein, and then I take
for the average
I take
person,
like a
that's pretty good.
multivitamin. So,
Mhm.
like, what would you say is the most important supplement that, like, if somebody can only, let's say, afford or they only want to do one supplement, what should that be?
Well, it really depends on the goals, right? What that person is really looking to accomplish in the gym, what their fitness goals are, or with just their health. I say for performance, for the average gym goer, definitely protein, because that is just the macronutrient that seems to be the hardest to really get into your regular diet. The protein demand that you need to recover, especially when you're training at a high intensity. So I use protein every day.
I mean, that's the only supplement that I use,
Yeah.
right? That's the only outside of like multivitamins, like protein is the go-to, right?
Yes.
Like it has to be. Like I could never take in enough protein in the day without taking a shake. And I use like a scoop and a half, 2 scoops in my shake, like to get enough protein. Because after a while, I just feel tired of eating food. Like, I mean, eating chicken and stuff all day.
Supplement. The word itself is literally just a supplement in place of food with your regular diet.
Yeah.
The protein, for sure, is like the number one choice for that for most people.
Okay, so let's say outside of that, somebody like yourself who is a pro bodybuilder, like what's number two? Like what's like protein? Obviously, everyone can benefit from protein. I think everyone, like even if you're not in a hardcore workout regimen, like everyone can benefit from taking some protein, because I would doubt that most people take in enough protein each day, no matter what, right?
Yeah.
That would be my guess.
Yeah.
What's number two? Like, you have to have this as a pro bodybuilder.
And we discussed this with the last episode, touched on it a little bit, but I'd say creatine monohydrate. Creatine it doesn't get enough recognition for what it really does. And it's just one of those supplements that's just been around so long, and there's different delivery systems, and they're trying to add it in with other supplements, but just really is the most clinically researched and studied supplement out there that is just proven to help with your performance, to help you generate more ATP, to get those extra few reps.
Yeah.
Just to maximize your workout.
And like last week, like I didn't even know, outside of it being part of my protein shake, I didn't even know that was still like a go-to. Like I really didn't. And because I remember being in high school and like all of the athletes took creatine. Like it had just come out. Like they didn't mix it with anything. They just dumped a scoop in their mouth and they'd go to work, right? Like,
Yeah.
and they didn't think about it. But then there was also like, weren't there some scares like where people were like dehydrating from it because maybe they weren't taking in enough water, possibly, or it was
Complete BS.
really,
Yeah.
complete BS.
Yes. Creatine, you're not going to overdose. You're not going to overdo it. You're not, I mean, unless you're just like guzzling half a container a day.
So maybe that was what it was. Possibly.
I don't know what. How
So
they
that
could
was
have been
more
that
like
reckless, but
a scare tactic, maybe like, this kid happened to be taking creatine and he had some kind of
underlying
yeah
issue. So with what's crazy about it and paradoxical about creatine monohydrate, people think, well, it's going to make you gain weight. Yeah, it's water,
yeah,
but it's intracellular water. There's a big difference with water within the muscle compared to water outside the muscle.
And so that's what intracellular is.
Yes.
It's putting water in the muscle.
Yes.
So it like almost like
In the
super
right places.
hydrates the muscle
Absolutely.
while you're working out to kind of give you that extra strength, give you that extra
not
endurance.
the sub-Q jiggly fat water that's under the skin
Yeah,
that you see.
yeah. What's the difference in, because I know that there's creatine monohydrate, and then they started coming out with all these like different blends of creatine at one point. Are they any better or worse than
I just
like a
trust what's
monohydrate?
studied. Monohydrate is just the one that has the most studies behind it.
Okay.
With the different delivery systems, I think that is just what the supplement company does, or supplement companies do in that industry. Is just how we can be different and how we can get it, absorbed even faster.
Yeah.
But what I was going back to what I was saying with creatine, a lot of people don't understand like how long term and what it's going to yield. They don't really think about it this way, but creatine is actually more of like a fat burning supplement if you think about it.
Really?
Yes. And think about it like
I
this.
didn't know that.
What is going to make you build more muscle over time? More muscle means what? You're going to burn more fat. Burn more calories in a day. So if you're taking these fat burners, these high stem thermogenic aids, that's going to fry out your central nervous system eventually, and you're going to revert back to where you were.
Yeah.
That there's a place and time for that, but long term, what you can really get out of creatine, I think people just don't really realize or take that into account. Is the ultimate goal is to build more lean muscle tissue to help with your performance in the gym. Hey, if you're a couple pounds more on the scale, it's no big deal if that's like intracellular water, what we talked about. But yeah, with these,
I don't know. Yeah,
burning.
Yeah. Okay, so that'll lead me into my next question then.
Yeah.
For females, creatine
Yes.
still for females?
Absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
I know, just from my clients, that's all I can attest to, and women that I'm close with. Like, if you tell them like 2 pounds extra on the scale, don't worry about it.
Oh no.
Like that's a whole different conversation.
And with that, you do have to tread lightly.
Yeah.
There's.
there has to be an
Also
understanding about it to some
Yes.
extent, right?
Yes.
Like there has to be some level of, you're taking in more water, you're building muscle. There's going to be a little more weight on the scale. It's hard to convince all people, but in my experience, females especially, that you can't trust the number on the scale all the time. Like,
let me revert back to this. So with creatine, that's something that you would add in with any supplements after you have a diet model in place, after you've been training for a while, right? If you're just starting the gym and you're just starting on a diet, you don't need to do anything but go to the gym and follow the plan.
yeah.
Then once you get to a point to where you plateau, that's when you start venturing into different supplementations that are going to help with your performance and knock through those plateaus in the gym.
Okay. That's a really good point. Like,
Yeah.
that's a really good point is, you hit a wall, which is where most people give up.
Yeah.
Like that. most people,
Now, if they're just beginning, they're going to have
yeah,
those beginner gains. They're going to be
exactly.
making leaps and bounds.
A couple months down the road,
Yeah,
they're
week
going to
to week, they're
smash
going to see
into a
it.
wall, and they're just going to say, "I'm not seeing anything here. This is not happening." And then they're going to start giving up. Well, is it worth it? It's not worth my time to keep going if I'm not still seeing results. And I mean, we've seen hundreds of people, if not thousands, give up on their goals simply because they hit a plateau. So you're saying, at least start with protein.
At least start with protein.
At least start with
the diet,
protein.
for sure.
You hit a wall, and it's like that's when you venture into the other supplements.
Yes, don't look for the fat burners and things that you can get over the counter right away that you think is going to be like a magic pill. Because I'm telling you right now, it's very temporary. It's going to, if you just think about it, you're stemmed out constantly. Your cortisol levels are going to elevate. It's going to inhibit fat burning going on in the body. So there's no long-term success really with that. That is another thing. Is like if all other resources have been expended, then and that's really for certain people.
And should you, I know when I was younger, much younger, they used to say cycling creatine. Do you agree with that, or do you think that it's more, since it's been so heavily researched now? Do you think it's more of an option as an ongoing supplement now? And because I mean, people used to say cycle it, start out and then build up to it and come off of it and let your body eat, and
no, I don't believe that really. I think it could be used regularly year round, really for a benefit. Your body realizes what it is going to utilize it still. It doesn't need to resensitize to it to get that. Now, as someone is first starting off, there is such things like front loading, yes. And I believe
so.
That,
front loading, is that like that's still a thing? I remember.
Yes.
So you still believe that should be utilized
initially, just starting off, and you're really seeing it just to get the most out of it when you first start taking creatine. And for those me personally, I cycle it, but I'm not taking it all the way up to my shows. But I know other people, athletes and contest prep, that really keep it in all the way.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, like front loading is where you basically take more than you necessarily need. I believe it's on. I would imagine it's still on the container where it explains to front load it, and it's where you're taking in more, so that you kind of get your body adapted to it, and then you can kind of settle out on it. So, well, tell me. Let's go into pre-workouts then, because that's something that's new to me, and you've let me use your pre-workout a couple times when we've happened to be at the gym at the same time.
A lot different, right?
And it's so different. And I used pre-workouts for a little while, but I got off of them because I was so shaky, and like I felt like my blood was boiling almost when I would take them. But now they have like non-stimulant ones, and that's the one that you let me use. And my leg workout was totally different. It worked me all the way through it. Like I never felt like super fatigued. I felt motivated the entire time I was going there. So like kind of break down like what the process of getting on pre-workout, what the need is, and all of that.
Yeah, sure thing. So
you brought an example.
Selfish plug. So I am a Evogen Elite sponsored athlete, and this is the protein pre-workout that he is talking about, the EVP 3D. And what's different about this is a non-stim pre-workout, meaning it doesn't have caffeine in it. You don't, especially if you're training later in the day like me, sometimes in the evening. I'm not really big on stimulants, especially in the off season. I don't need that energy. I get my energy from the food. But think about performance. I think everybody with their pre-workouts is almost like people get into a ritual the way they just have to be stimulated to have any kind of motivation to go to the gym. They just have to be wired up. And that's great, really, to be in that zone. I get it. I was one of those gym junkie guys, I guess you could say. I had to have my pre-workout ritual on the way to the gym, blasting music, whatever I had to do to get in my head. But over time, as I became more aware of my body, I realized like my performance wasn't really improved by that. If anything, it was more detrimental to my performance because either I was taking too much caffeine, which is actually a vasoconstrictor. So it completely cancels out what you're trying to achieve when you're working out, and that is optimal blood flow to the muscle.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what's carrying the nutrients, the oxygen, what the muscle really needs for performance. So when that happens, yeah, that's what you feel like, that crash, that mid workout. I'm sure you've had that experience because you're even more sensitive to caffeine than I am.
I have, and look, I mean, I drink a cup of coffee every morning. That's about all the caffeine I have at this point.
Yeah.
Like, I don't spend any amount of money going to Starbucks or having sodas or anything like that throughout the day. Every now and then I'll have a Diet Coke, something along those lines. But I don't really spend a whole lot of time and energy looking for coffee or stimulants and stuff like that now that I've kind of been on my meal plan or whatever. I mean, we all love coffee, you know, and I mean, that's a good pre-workout if you don't want to take a pre-workout though, right? Like that's at least something, but like you said, does that constrict
it can.
your blood vessels?
It still can. And there is such a thing as just adrenal fatigue. Like if you take stimulants for so long, your body will adapt to that.
Yeah.
Get used to it. So what does that mean?
That's when you miss one and you're like, my head.
Yep. Then you have withdrawal symptoms with that, headaches. Exactly. So with another thing that's awesome about this pre-workout in particular is it has nootropics, which are cognitive factors in it that you could just really utilize in your workout, your focus, your energy. That's what you also were talking about with your leg workout.
Yeah, I mean, I felt such a different and second of all, like not only did my workout go much better, it tasted great. I just mixed it with my water that I would normally drink during my workout and sipped on it the whole time. And you know, Tom made me sure to tell me like sip on it. Like sip on it through your workout because he know I'm the kind of guy like when I take supplements, I just chug it. Like, I don't even think about it. I just go for it. And if I got to take a handful of pills, I pop them all, swallow, done, and I don't even think anything else of it. And so, you know, I'm glad you prefaced it with that. Like, make sure you just kind of sip it all the way through. But I just felt so much better through my workout. And my water was more enjoyable because I drink so much water throughout the day anyway that, and not having sodas and things of that nature have kind of left me like, you know,
water again.
Yeah, it's just water again. Like, and I like water, and you know, when you're really thirsty, like water's great.
Yeah.
But when you drink nothing but water all the time, and I mean, I love like carbonated drinks. Like, I just like the feeling of the carbonation, but some kind of flavor just makes it work.
Yeah,
and
especially
so
if you
what was the sour one?
Sour candy. So I love sour flavor, like with the pre-workout.
So good.
Yes.
That one was so good.
It hits you, right?
It was perfect. Like my favorite kind of candies are like sour candies. Like I love sour Skittles and sour Spree and stuff like I love
Well, just think
candies.
about that with that feeling. Just don't get sidetracked with the joke or dirty, but the feeling in your mouth. Think about with test taking. How they said like taking a peppermint when you were taking a test actually helped you really focus and with your memory recall when you're taking a test. So it's like something that's sour when you're working out, and that's also with the nootropics and the focus factors that are in it. Like that, I think that also adds to it. So if you like the taste of something, and it just wakes you up like that,
I loved it. I'm definitely getting some of it because the experience I had with it was so good. Like I want to work out with it now, but the taste was, and everything I've had from Evogen so far has just been outstanding.
Yeah, their flavor systems are like unparalleled,
unbelievable. Yeah. They're so good. Like, I mean, to go from such a real chalky, I don't know, you know, like, and I mean, I use some pretty good. I don't use like generic proteins ever. Like, I don't waste my money on that. It's cheaper. It's cheaper. You know, if it's cheaper, it's cheaper kind of thing. And so I don't waste any amount of time or money buying those because you never know what kind of protein grams you're actually getting because all the fillers and stuff.
Oh, and you can just look at the labels. Proprietary blends, calories are a lot higher than what they should be. per gram of protein in that scoop. Like, what other additives are in it?
Yeah, it's like it didn't cost as much, but it's costing you a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I imagine it's that way with any supplement. Like you can put fillers in anything, right? So I would imagine any pre-workout, even possibly creatine, wouldn't you say? Like could possibly the cheaper the brand.
And I think that's what could really be attributed to some people had adverse reactions to take creatine.
Yeah.
It was probably just because it was
found some dirt cheap garbage somewhere and was like, oh, I can afford that. And it's like, well, that's you get what you get. Like you get what you pay for.
And especially with protein powders, it's finding ones that really digest well. The absorption rate is good. It sits easy on your stomach. Guys, if you're like, and girls, I mean, if you're like farting all day long, got gas, obviously that's not normal. That's an indicator that you're not really breaking down the food or the protein the way you should. Maybe initially the adaptation with your body I can understand, but I know with Evogen the protein is just double filtered, whey isolate, so it has everything clearly on the label. I had a client that sent me what protein they were using, and it had 6 grams less per serving, but 80 calories more in a single scoop.
And that's from the blend.
Yes.
Like that's from just the extra fillers they put in there. So you're taking in more calories with less protein. That doesn't even make sense.
No.
That should be, that's like something.
Is in it?
And is that something like people should look for, like when they're looking for a protein? Because obviously, like, look, let's be honest, like Evogen's like top of the line.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, they are top of the line. And so you're not going to get it for the same price as you buy something at Walmart. Right. Like you're just not. However, you potentially are getting a much stronger protein, a much more purified protein with potentially less calories. Like that's a win-win.
Yeah.
Like you're taking in more protein and it's not
It's getting you closer to your goals.
Exactly.
In a shorter period of time, therefore saving you money.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So it's cheaper, but it's cheaper. Like it's still costing you somewhere. It's still costing them something
on
somewhere.
The front end, but to maximize results, you want to take good products.
Exactly.
You don't want to take shortcuts with that.
Exactly. So, all right. So let's go into what other stuff did you bring with you? I didn't even ask you before we went live.
I can still talk about this pre-workout, man.
No, I mean, look,
another thing, really, to be serious with this is the pump factors. So a non-stim, really, just what do you feel in the workout though? So we want to get the muscle full of blood, really where you can feel that pump during the workout. Literally,
feel the pump.
That's right. And with the pump factors in it, L-arginine, you could really, really feel that. Especially, I love it taking it on arm days, leg days, where sometimes it's hard to really get that mind-muscle connection. Back days for sure.
Back days are my worst.
Yeah,
that's when I need it the most. I need it on back day. That is my work. That's my most hated day of working out, of lifting. I don't know why. It just is. Like, I don't mind working anything else. Even leg day. I prefer leg day over back day. I think it's just because I can't see my back.
And that's the thing with
most people,
and that's why this could be another supplement that's good to look into for people. If you have a lagging muscle group, this muscle group you just don't have a good, solid mind-to-muscle connection with, taking a good pump product and really filling that muscle out during the workout. I know this sounds crazy, but if you still have issues with filling your muscle, train that muscle when it's sore.
Really?
Don't do it every week. You're not gonna get ahead by doing that. But when you can train that muscle and you already feel that it's sore, you get a better mind muscle connection, and it teaches your body really how to fill it out that much more. But this is a way you can do that without having to continue breaking your muscle down.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So that's just something to really think about when you're not just mentally in the zone, but getting the most out of your performance with the workouts. Is
Gotcha.
The pump.
The pump.
That's right.
Getting the pump. All right. What else did you bring with you?
BCAAs, and this is what we talked.
Okay. Branched chain aminos. That's another good one.
essential amino acids, branched chain amino acids. So this is another one that I talked about, or our last episode that I said it's more so a luxury supplement. But let me revert to saying that I think it's still essential to take, especially if you're in a caloric deficit, and maybe have issues to staying hydrated throughout the day. I know that's one of my biggest problems. I don't think about it. Most people don't.
Yeah.
As busy as they are, just being able to get their water intake in for the day.
I'm glad they have it as a powder now.
Oh yeah,
because I used to take aminos, not just branch chain. I used to buy buckets of pills and take like 12 of them a day, like 3 times a day. It was ridiculous. And I mean, I could tell a difference in my workouts, but I was just glad to see that they have it in a powder now that you can mix and kind of flavor your water and have it as a drink.
Yes, and it's going to sound gross, but this is just facts with it. A lot of branched chain amino acid products that are out there are really derived from not such clean sources.
Really?
Yeah, like proteins broken down from like fingernail clippings, duck feathers, I've heard, hair. I know for a fact that Hani Rambod, when he was looking into formulating BCAAs with his product, that he was going to do a fermentation process with just good quality organic like products. It's not going to be leftovers, protein derived from nasty hair and fingernail clippings.
That's gross. That's like super gross.
That is taking what the supplement industry really does to
I mean,
some companies, they
like
take
I
big shortcuts,
understand,
and that's
and I understand like people got to make profits, like they have to, and they have investors and all that kind of stuff. Oh man, if you're just joining us, we are talking all about supplements today on Fit Foundations. If you haven't yet, please smash that like button. Hold up what you got there, like show everybody kind of what that one, what's it called? Aminoject?
Yes. Aminoject, and I got the strawberry margarita. So if you like margaritas, this would be a good flavor to look into. And you got plenty of different flavors that he has on the website. You can check the link in my bio or in the description, and really look for yourself and find. I mean, like I said, it's very important that you enjoy the products if you're going to be using them on a regular basis. But the best thing about branched chain amino acids, really with me, especially in the off season, just getting enough water. If I enjoy what I'm drinking throughout the day, it's a lot easier.
And so they have so many different flavors. And so you're saying that you should be drinking that throughout the whole day, like to kind of spread it out.
So I primarily do it within my workouts or within my fasted cardio, but really what I do is just like it's so good, strong, potent, good flavor. I can dilute it like a couple scoops in a half gallon.
Okay.
And that lasts me.
That'll last you a little while. So
I just steadily
that kind of helps even it out throughout the whole day, so that you're constantly taking in a little something,
right?
And it makes it more enjoyable. I mean,
Absolutely.
which is perfect. And that's something I need to look into as well, because, like I said, after a while you're just like, water. Jesus, how much water can one person drink before it's just like I have to have something with some flavor. And so if you're that person, and I know a lot of people that are like that just, they're just like, it's funny that my mother-in-law won't drink water. Like, she just doesn't like it. She said it makes her gag. Water.
Yeah, you told me about this.
Yeah, water.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, how is that possible, for one? So for somebody like her, would this benefit her? And she's not a person that works out ever, but you say branched chain aminos are kind of like a luxury supplement, but can it benefit just like the general person if they're looking for something besides Crystal Light to flavor their water?
For sure. That's what I was about to make the comparison with, like Mio's or Crystal Light. Just use something that is going to actually benefit
right?
you. Yeah.
That's all like aspartame and sucralose.
Yeah, you're not getting anything beneficial out of that.
Okay, so at least this has something
where BCAAs, they're the building blocks of protein, help you with recovery. People that use it regularly may notice that they're not going to be as sore. With me, I'm sore every day. I'm just with my training, it's not going to really help. Yeah,
I mean that's something that I needed this past week. I even told you, like, Friday night I had just a huge cheat meal for myself and Dana. And we had steak and sweet potatoes. Now it wasn't like burgers and fries or
dirty,
anything like
dirty,
that. It
but
wasn't dirty, but it was. We usually don't eat carbs late, right? Like we usually go with just protein, some fat, stuff like that. And so I was like, we're eating some carbs because I have gone 5 days in a row and my body just hurt just from not. I mean, I'm eating enough calories, right? I'm not working at a calorie deficit, but I'm like right on point.
yeah,
And so if I have like a high energy day, I feel like I'm at a calorie deficit. So maybe I need to be thinking along the lines of some branched chain aminos just to help
for
me with my
sure.
water intake as well.
For
Not
sure.
that I
And
have a
most
huge problem
people
with it, but
are dehydrated.
yeah,
Uh,
most people. And when you say most, that's like 80+%.
Oh, yeah.
I would say.
Yeah,
Stay dehydrated.
for sure. For sure. And when you get those sensories from your body telling you I'm hungry, as we could be really that you're just dehydrated.
Yeah.
Drink more water. With my clients, my weight loss clients, that's why I really just have them drink as much water as they are comfortable with really drinking. And sometimes you have to push that comfort level. Is like, yeah, your compulsory system in your body, you're gonna be going to the bathroom more frequently initially when you start, but over time it's gonna balance out.
Well, I've had a couple of my clients that have asked me
You're
like,
flushing toxins out.
how much water should I drink? And I'm like, it's hard to say, because you know your life better than I do. I'm still kind of learning it. And I don't know what your day to day is, but you shouldn't be thirsty. Like you shouldn't get to a point where you're just like super parched unless you're doing, you should expect it. If you work outside in the heat or something along those lines, a high intensity, some kind of laborious position that's taking a lot out of you. Like you may feel thirsty, but like if you're sitting in an office, you shouldn't be thirsty. Like you should be sipping on some water or something throughout the day to not ever feel like, oh my God, I'm about to die of thirst.
Be aware of your own like biofeedback. If you have dry eyes, if you have dry cotton mouth, you feel your joints are sore, you're just sore all over, your muscles are sore. A lot of it could be just pure dehydration.
Yeah. So this can really kind of help push you through that, and it's good for you. So you're taking in those building blocks of muscle, plus it's going to help quench. And just because, and I think I need to say
digestion.
This, I think I need to say this, like just for anybody listening, like just because it's a liquid doesn't mean it's hydrating you. People get that confused. People really do.
They do.
And in my mind, it shouldn't be so confusing, but they really think about it that way. Like we might have to do a whole show on just like the importance of hydration.
Coffee's the worst.
People drink. You ever seen the people that have like those huge thermos coffee mugs or whatever that have like a gallon of coffee? And they're like, oh, I drink this all day. This is all I just drink it throughout the whole day. It's all I drink. And I'm like, I bet your knees and your back and like your joints are just hurting by the end of the day.
I'll put it like this: like we didn't even factor in coffee. Now it was used because it has a diuretic effect. The last couple of days leading up to my show, and we didn't count that liquid from the coffee. That liquid was replaced. So if every ounce of coffee I drank was replaced with an ounce of water.
Well, you have to. I mean, that's what everybody should do, because like the caffeine, though caffeine is good for you in some factors as far as working out, like pre-workout wise, and to kind of perk you up in the morning. Like it's not bad for you, but coffee today is not coffee. It's sugar with a tiny bit of coffee in it. Like the Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks, they don't sell coffee. Like you go in there and ask for black coffee, they're going to look at you like you're from outer space. Like they don't sell coffee. They sell sugar with coffee, with coffee added. Watch how much coffee they add to it. It's not a lot. It's sugar. And that's really what's like perking most people up now. Well, all that sugar, all that caffeine is just sucking the water right out of your body. You're not hydrating yourself on any means. And then you're just
empty calories.
Empty calories. Oh God, we can't get into that because that's a whole different show.
We're not going to get into food because people are enjoying their food.
Yeah, we don't want to
guilt you guys.
And tomorrow morning, after drinking all night, everybody's going to be
chicken wings.
Yeah, everybody's going to be wrapped around the coffee store. So Okay, so we've gone through the protein and we've gone through the creatine, branched chain aminos, and a pre workout. Before we wrap up, is there anything else that you're like for the general public, like that may exercise occasionally or just starting? Is there anything else that you recommend that they should be taking as a supplement?
And I wanted to focus around performance. So I'm trying to think what we really have uh, covered. So mental focus.
Mental focus.
You could look at different nootropics that you could take separately. Maybe it's something that's not in your pre-workout, intra-workout. So this is for these really intense trainers, athletes, serious people that just really need or have very efficient metabolisms, but they just need that extra energy. Maybe they feel like they burn out. Even if they're eating a lot of food in the middle of their session, they lose their pump. I have a few
people eat food in the middle of their
few athletes. No, I'll explain. So
that's crazy.
Of course, you can't eat a full meal in the middle of your workout and refuel. But how you can extend that workout is have fast absorbing, fast digesting carbs, which you can get from something that's going to be easier on the stomach, like cluster dextrin, as opposed to fructose, like you get from fruit juice, that could potentially cause bloating. So I would look into that. What Evogen carries is what they have called Glycoject, and it's just 25 grams of carbs, but drinkable carbs. And that's just going to help with keep you full, keep you hydrated, energized. It also has hydration factors in there. It's going to help extend the workout. But that's one that definitely I utilize, especially in my off season when I'm building up calories, need those extra calories, and my workout duration is a little bit longer, to really get the most out of it. That's something else is an intra workout, fast digesting carb source that people could use.
Okay, and that's like performance wise.
That's more for advanced athletes.
Like
yes.
I tell all of my clients, like right off the bat, multivitamins.
I'm so glad you said that.
I mean, I always say it can't hurt, if nothing else, especially when you start a new meal plan or you're starting to work out. Like your body is going to some extent, feel depleted of some vitamins. And you're not going to be taking in the same level of calories and you're not going to be taking in the same kinds of things. And, you know, some of my clients are even on like really strict diets to the point like their meal plans are primarily, you know, protein and rice or protein and sweet potatoes. And we try to throw in some other stuff, but you know, I have one client, he's like, I'm lazy. I don't want to fix all that. I want something that I can just throw in and just go with it. And
right.
I'll eat the same thing every meal. I don't care. I'm going to see results. I'm going to eat it. I don't think about eating anyway, but I eat crap because it's not there in front of me. And so I'm like, well, you definitely need a multivitamin. Like you definitely need to be taking in some kind of
something's
multivitamin.
going to fill in those gaps.
Yeah, but then we need to talk about possible fillers with that as well. So, you know, the more generic you get, more than likely the more possible fillers there are.
My favorite is the women's.
Yeah.
Men's for men's, women's for women's.
Ridiculous.
Multivitamin. The only difference is more women might be a little bit deficient in iron, so they just raise the iron, and this is what makes it a women's multivitamin.
Yeah.
Or they might have something for guys. It's like a little something in there is supposed to help with prostate support.
In general, anybody who takes a multivitamin, like if your body doesn't need it, it's gonna flush it, right? Like if you're hydrated enough. If you take in now, there are some exceptions with that where, you know, you take in too much vitamin C or possibly too much iron or something like. But I mean, how many vitamins are you taking? Like that's where that question goes. Then like, oh, I'm taking 5 a day. 5 a day. What are you doing?
Yes, you know. Just a quick sidestep with that. I wanted to say that I've had people freak out. I am so dehydrated. There has to be something wrong with my body. Like I'm urinating and it looks like neon green.
Yes, B vitamins.
That's the B vitamins, riboflavin. So that's
common.
Normal.
That's common.
That's normal. That stuff's going to go right through.
Yeah, I mean it glows in the dark at that point. When you're taking enough B vitamins, it glows in the dark.
Just nuclear waste coming out of you. You're fine.
It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. But I always say multivitamin. Like everybody can benefit from that.
And
Protein
Evogen
and all
has
these.
that Evovite, so it's not men's, women, men and women
It's
can take
ridiculous
it.
that there's a men's and a women. I even think it's ridiculous that it's like, prostate health, this age
They
and
even have
older.
it for,
It's
for
just like,
creatine. It's
just
everything,
just
male
go.
line, female line.
That's just a marketing bunch of boo hockey. Like go out there and buy you a good multivitamin. And I think Evogen has a pill form and a drink form as well. I assume they have the flavors like they have. So, that's something as well. If you don't want to do the branch chain aminos, you can do that.
It's a great way to start your morning.
Yeah, I mean, you can do that throughout the day and flavor your drinks while you're at it. So, well, that does it for all about supplements today. We have run out of time.
Second episode already.
Second episode. If you want to see the replay of this video of our broadcast today, you can check out our YouTube channel. Check it out. It's FitFluentX, just like on the Facebook page. Go subscribe. And in the description, once you see this video, you will see the link for Evogen products for sure. Tom, appreciate you being here with me today.
Always a pleasure.
I'm Pope John, the national champion of men's physique 2021, Tom Cox. We'll be back next time, next Sunday, 6:30, when the Super Bowl isn't happening. And we'll probably be talking about food or water or something
be a more
relevant.
Appropriate time.
Yes, we tried to stay away from that this week because of Super Bowl. We appreciate anybody that's joined us. We'll see you guys next time.
Go Bengals.
Take it easy.